Hey there, folks. I'm Eric Osberg, Rural Rebound Initiative Coordinator for Otter Tail County, and we're joined by Rebecca Lynn Peterson, who is the Director of Development at West Central Initiative. How are you doing today, Rebecca?
I'm doing great, especially since I hear it's going to be warming up.
Right. So the reason that we wanted to talk to you, Rebecca, was West Central Initiative is a great organization, does a lot of good things in the 9-county area, and you have a thing called a Resiliency Fund. Could you explain what the Resiliency Fund is to folks?
Sure. So let's just back up a few months to January when we were kicking off our annual fund campaign. And that doesn't seem like that long ago. But in February, things started to get a little wonky. And by March, we knew that we were headed into a different kind of world. And so we put our annual fund campaign on hold temporarily. We'll get back to that probably in the next few weeks. But we recognized that in response to this pandemic, there are individuals and organizations that, one, wanted to help others who were in need, or two, were in great need themselves. So the Resiliency Fund, we created it in March. We started accepting contributions from individual foundations. We also shifted some of our funds from our regular grant making into resiliency granting, if you will, because while other organizations were creating things called emergency relief funds or responsiveness funds or whatever, we chose the word resilient because that's what we do. For 34 years, West Central Initiative has been addressing the resiliency of this region on all kinds of levels, whether it was the farming crisis or whether it was creating jobs or then responding to workforce shortage. And our work at this time really is about how do we come out on the other side of this being even more resilient than ever.
So who has access to the Resiliency Fund? Who are the people or organizations that are able to tap into these resources?
So originally, we were directed by the governor to work with our other initiative foundations across the state to help out child care centers, because we all recognized that these are essential workers. They always have been, but even more so now for providing care for the children of essential workers in healthcare. That funding has kind of dried up, but we were able to get it out to the entire region. Meanwhile, there's another pocket of funding, about $700,000, that we'll be re-granting throughout the month of May to qualifying charitable organizations. In other words, organizations that have a 501c3. So a lot of these organizations work with individuals throughout our 9-county region. Some of them provide services to food shelves. They provide services to individuals who are challenged both with language barriers or disability barriers. We're working with a lot of organizations that work with new Americans who don't know how to apply for unemployment. So we're seeing a vast need across the 9-county region, which we expect will change in the months ahead. So we're doing these initial grants through the month of May as we repopulate the fund, if you will, so that come June, July, August, when we see a new set of needs, we can be responsive to that, while at the same time building a resiliency fund for the future that we continue to grow so that we can address the needs of our region and make our region stronger going forward, quite frankly.
And so if I heard you correctly, this is for nonprofit organizations, not necessarily for the private sector. So if I'm a nonprofit organization or part of one, how do I get the ball rolling? How do I reach out to West Central Initiative? What do I have to do to see if I'm eligible for these funds?
Right. It's really pretty easy. You can go to our website at wcif, as in frank.org. We have an e-grant application set up. It's maybe 3.5 pages, super easy to fill out. You have to register with eGrants, but it walks you through that. You submit your application, and we review these every Tuesday. So we want to make it as easy and as accessible as we possibly can, because people have a lot of work on their plates right now. We don't want to make this a challenging thing. We want to make it, well, easy.
And you had mentioned before we started recording that phone conversations are welcome. Is that right?
Correct. So 3 of my colleagues who also sit on the review panel have been able to make themselves accessible from home via phone call. One of them is willing to answer questions about the grant itself and about the guidelines. The other one is willing to answer questions about the actual process of applying for the grant. And then the third one is willing to answer questions if you're not eligible for one of these Resiliency Fund grants. What are the other resources that are out there that might apply to you? And we do have also on our website a whole list of resources available to for-profit, nonprofit individuals, etc.
And I guess my final question would be, maybe I'm on the other side of the spectrum and I want to help. Maybe I'm in a position where I can offer funds to your organization or others. Are you guys seeking more funding for maybe not necessarily this, but things down the road?
Absolutely. And so it's always really easy to donate online by going to our website as well. In fact, on the landing page, there's a donate button, and it'll drop you down to Resiliency Fund, Annual Fund, other opportunities to give. Some folks have already reached out to us either through an online donation or by sending us a check in the mail, because we do check the mail every day. Just re-granting their stimulus checks. I don't need a stimulus check. I'm going to give it to somebody who does. And I think people in our region, I know people in our region have come to trust West Central Minnesota to make good decisions about how these funds get redistributed.
And anything else you want to add? Anything else you think is important that people need to know about the Resiliency Fund or West Central Initiative, or just anything you want to tell folks?
Well, I want to tell people to be safe and to stay healthy. And I know that as we start to reopen the state, it's really important that we can build our social networks back up, but be smart about that, and keep yourselves safe. I was watching somebody play Frisbee the other day, and while that seems like a really fun thing to do, I don't know that that's totally safe yet. So, and I know Otter Tail County and your work is helping us track how these things are opening up in our own counties and our own communities. So I thank you for that. And we're there with you as partners.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking your time, and thanks for all the good work that you find folks do. And thanks for showing us that we can be better together.
Thank you.